Hi guys, and welcome back to Worley's Watchbox. And before we jump into the video about this Timex expedition, I did sort of reevaluate my scoring towards the end of the video, and so you will see some discrepancies there, but I will make note of it in the video as far as the scoring goes. But that's the only thing different that you'll see, and so, you know, everything that I say might not match what the scoring actually reflects in the end. But just wanted to throw that out there. So with that said, let's jump right into it. Hi guys, and welcome back to Worley's Watchbox, and today we got another watch review. But this time, it's a rather affordable piece, and I mean really affordable piece. And it's a Timex Expedition Scout. You can find these in department stores like Walmart, Target, Kohl's, all around. And I think people kind of discount Timex because they're more of a department store brand and they're kind of regarded to as cheap per se. But, you know, I think there's value to be found in watches like this that you can find, you know, at your Walmart, Meijer, whatever it may be. And, you know, I think you can find these watches for around in between 30 to 60 bucks. 60 bucks max, I think, from Timex's website. So what value are you really getting from a so-called cheap watch? Well, we'll take a look at that and more, so let's take a closer look. So here is the Timex Expedition off the wrist, and at a quick glance, it looks pretty cool. It's got that field watch aesthetic going on, has this black sort of coating on here. Yeah, pretty cool watch. I'm digging it, digging it. Now, we'll do this watch just like all of the other reviews, and we'll start off with the timekeeping. And yeah, it keeps pretty good time. It's a quartz watch. They're pretty accurate most of the time. Can't really make any complaints. I will say I did leave this in my watch box for a very extended amount of time, and it did start to gain time actually quite a bit. So it's not going to be your most accurate quartz movement. It's pretty basic, and it's also really loud, and it's one of the biggest drawbacks, and Timex is kind of notorious for this, and this specific watch does definitely fit the bill. It's loud. It ticks really loud, and I'm not one to get upset about noise or anything very much, but I gotta say, if I'm at my desk doing something, it starts to bother me because you can really hear this tick, and yeah. So not a very high-end quartz movement. We'll move on to something more positive, and that's the functionality. Highly legible dial. It does have lume applied to the hour and minute hands, so, you know, easily legible. And it also has that very, very nice indiglow. So if you're in bed or in a dark spot, you'll be able to see the time very easily. The indiglow is phenomenal for the dark. It really is. It's awesome. I love that Timex does that. So functionality, 9 out of 10 I would say. I do wish it had higher water resistance. It's only 50 meters as you can see there on the dial. I do wish it was 100 meters water resistant. You know, this is sort of a rugged, or supposed to be a rugged outdoorsy watch, and you would sort of expect to get it wet. And if it's in the rain or you're washing your hands or something like that, I think that's fine, but I wouldn't go swimming with it. I wouldn't kayak or tube or anything like that with it. I wouldn't even shower with it. But other than that, you know, 50 meters, I mean, it's not going to get you much, but overall functionality, pretty darn good. Now, the strap on this, pleasant surprise, is actually very, very comfortable. It's nice and supple, and it has a signed buckle there. So yeah, no complaints there. No complaints. I'm not going to swap it out for anything else. I really like the way this looks and feels. So 10 out of 10 there. Now the finishing on this, it's got this coating. I'm not sure if it's a PVD coating or what, but it looks good. I like it. It fits that tool watch sort of rugged field aesthetic, and I really, really like it. But other than that, nothing too fancy. Nothing fancy. Now, moving on to the crystal, Keep this one short and sweet. It's just your standard mineral glass crystal. It'd be nice if it was sapphire, especially if you're going to go outside and kind of get this watch beaten up. It'd be nice if it was scratch resistant like a sapphire crystal would be, but you know, for the price point, can't complain too much. The case design, 7. It's okay. It's pretty plain, kind of your basic watch case design. No signed crown. Yeah, it's okay. It is made of brass. I did look it up. Not sure why they decided to go with brass instead of stainless steel, and I'm not sure what kind of coating they put on top of here. But overall, it looks pretty good. Not bad for a $30-ish watch. Now, moving on to the size, it is 40 millimeters, 11 millimeters thick, and has a 20 millimeter lug width. So it'll be easy to change out straps if you want to find another one and don't end up liking this one. So the size, I'm pretty happy with it. 40 millimeters tends to fit most people's wrists, so not going to complain there. I would prefer 38 to 39, but I'm not going to bitch too much. The dial. So I really like the beige sort of tan cream color they went with here. But if you look closely, and I should have talked about this with the finishing, look where the glare in the light is around the 12 o'clock. The painting on this, and this goes all the way around, on all the indices and numerals, the printing, whatever the process is, it just looks cheaply done. Very cheap. Look at the 10 and the 9 there. It's a poor stamp. Just not well done. It looks cheap, and I think, you know, that's one of the biggest drawbacks about this watch is the printing on that dial. You know, other manufacturers, it kind of pops a little bit, but this just looks absolutely like they went the cheapest route to go. But overall, it does have a nice layout. I love the 1 through 12 and then the 24-hour ring there on the inside. Very, very cool looking watch, and for what they're kind of going with the field tool watch aesthetic, it looks really good. Now, let's talk about the value of this watch. So, I think you can find this brand new from Timex for 60 bucks, but you can also get these on sale a lot from your grocery stores such as Walmart, Meijer, maybe Kroger, Target, and Kohl's, and you can get them for around 30 bucks, and that's not bad at all. $30 for a Timex, not bad. Totally worth it, and I would recommend picking it up. You know, this is one of these watches you can just grab and go. You can go work on something in the garage, take a hike, do something outdoors, go camping, and it'll do pretty much everything you need it to do. Tell the time well. You can see it nice in the dark with the Indiglow, and like I said earlier, the only bad thing was really the water resistance. It's not great. So the value on this is actually pretty good. If you can find it for, you know, under the $60 mark, I'd totally pick it up. I would totally pick it up. So with all that said, let's get into our scoring and recap here. So the timekeeping, give that an 8 out of 10. Pretty accurate, but will gain some time as time passes along. The movement, give that a 5. It's a basic quartz movement that ticks very loudly, and that's its biggest drawback. 5 out of 10 there. The functionality is a 9 out of 10. It's highly legible. The Indiglow is wonderful, but I do wish it had a little bit better water resistance. The bracelet is just absolutely wonderful. It's very comfortable to wear. 10 out of 10 there. The finishing, 7. It's nothing fancy. It's kind of got this PVD-ish sort of coating on it. It looks good on the watch, but nothing to write home about. And that's the same with the crystal. It's just your basic mineral crystal, so 7 there. And the case design. You know, it's a common trend with this watch. It's nothing fancy, just your basic watch design, and it gets a 7 out of 10 there. Now, the size of the watch gets a 9. It's 40 millimeters, which will suit most people's wrists. I do wish it was just a hair smaller, maybe 38 or 39, but I think 40 is a very good size to go with. Now, the dial of this watch, very clean, highly legible, and I love the cream sort of tan beigeish color they went with, but the printing on the dial is a big drawback, and that goes with the finishing of this watch as well. It just looks very cheap there. Now, the value of this watch, as I mentioned earlier, you can get it for around $30 to $60. If you can get it for under $60 in maybe a $30 to $45 range, it is definitely good value for money. So that gives us a total score of a 78. Timex does wind up at the bottom of the leaderboard, as you can see, but nevertheless, it is still a perfect bang for buck watch that'll be a great beater that you won't have to worry about. So with all that said, thanks so much for watching. Please make sure to like and subscribe, and we will see y'all in the next one.